Hello and welcome. Every name means something, and chances are a person who is called by a particular name will fulfill what that name means. I'm a man who loves to prove things. If your name is George, chances are you know the how part of things or particular things. I'll begin with George Lacey. George Lacey was a member of the FBI unit. In January 1950, he proved that the pillow fire photograph, which was photographed on top of William Branham's head, a prophet of God, in that year 1950, was the first supernatural being ever photographed. George G. Lacey, a man who knew the how part of photography, is the one who gave the seal of authentication that this truly is a supernatural being, the pillar of fire. Next up is George Martin of the Beatles. That is the music producer of the Beatles. The song Eleanor Rigby, it went like an orchestra, and yet that was the Beatles, a pop band. George Martin, a man who knew how to produce music, first exciting music, a man who could give a band from Liverpool a sound which would sound like an orchestra, then a sound would sound like rock the next day, then a sound would sound like mellow the next day. George Martin knew how to produce music. In fact, he knows how to produce music. A very, very talented man indeed in the field of music production. Also in the actual lineup of the Beatles was a man called George Harrison. No wonder the Beatles were so successful. George Martin, the producer, George Harrison, the rhythm guitarist and vocalist, one of the vocalists in the Beatles. That is George Martin and George Harrison. Next up is George Orwell. George Orwell wrote the novel Animal Farm. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. These were pigs on a farm who were saying that as long as everyone was working on 4 legs, as pigs, everyone was equal. And then Snowball, one of the pigs, began to walk on 2 legs. Now, it was contrary to their doctrine or their philosophy of communism. Now they're saying some animals are more equal than other animals. George Orwell knew how to write a novel. Not only that, but how to make that novel look comic-like, comedy-like, and yet very, very serious at the same time. Communism does not work, because sooner or later you're going to have people who will amass wealth only for themselves at the expense of the other masses. So George Orwell's Animal Farm is a master read. It is very, very exciting indeed. George Orwell, a man who knew how to write a book, and a man who knew how to prove that communism does not work. It can never ever work. Next up is George Michael. When he released the album Make It Big together with his group Wham, at the age of 20, George Michael achieved what no other musician ever achieved. He became the most successful music producer at that age 20. He was very good at singing at that age 20. He was very good at composing songs at that age 20. He was very good at arranging music at that age 20. In fact, he would present a finished tape to his music company. Everything already finished. All that was left was for the music company to process the manufacturing of the music cassette and so on and so on, and then to go into distribution. George Michael, a man who knows how to sing, how to produce music, he even knows his music markets before he even begins to compose or to record music. That's George Michael. Next up is George Bush. This now is a mouthful. Bush meaning a man of the bushes or a man of war, a man who is more involved in foreign policy than in domestic policy. George Bush, he took over the oil of Iraq, a very, very rich oil territory in the world. And it is said that in Iraq was where the original Garden of Eden was. And so George Bush, he takes over with only the oil of Iraq, but also the original Garden of Eden. Wow. George Bush, for sure, a man who knows how to take over that is set and good. Next up is King George of England. I've not researched anything on King George of England, but he must have done something right to maintain the colonies of the British Empire, because the United Kingdom is supposed to be just like a kingdom. Only after King George, the people become conscious that they were supposed to break away from colonial rule, and King George must have done something right to maintain the stronghold of the British Empire, or the kingdom of the British Empire. I hope this interpretation about George has blessed you. Let us meet in the next interpretation. Bye for now.